The Rolls-Royce that acted as a trigger for the arrest of ANITA Among was seen online. In fact, in a video that was showing the interior of this car is here. Here's the tape.
And Hilda is also at the departure entrance.
That is the Rolls-Royce of ANITA Among. 1. The car is worth almost 3.5 billion. It was transported using air transport. It's not normally common when people buy cars and they transport them by air. It is not normally seen, but we saw ANITA Among's car being transported by air. In fact, even when they are getting it from the airport, people were seen driving it. In fact, those people who were seen driving the car are suspects of ANITA Among's AD, where various money was seen being transported, transacted on their accounts. In fact, here is the tape when they were driving it. That is the Rolls-Royce ANITA Among was driving. First of all, let me make it clear. In my mind of minds, I don't think that the reason as to why ANITA Among was arrested, it was because of the Rolls-Royce. No. Because a Rolls-Royce of 3.5 billion cannot be the reason as to why ANITA Among were arrested. It is the truth. The reason is here one. There are very many people in government who are stolen much more than ANITA Among. But for me, according to my view, I think the reason why ANITA Among was arrested, one, he had a lot of influence in State House, in Parliament. He would give members of Parliament money. In fact, outside General Kaguta Museveni, the only person who knew how to use patronage was ANITA Among. And General Museveni does not give chances. Secondly, I think the reason why he was arrested is he amassed a lot of wealth primitively. There are very many people within government who steal and you never know. If they put a gun on your head and they ask you how kind of Tafire's house looks like, you may fail to identify it. If they ask you how Salim Saleh's house looks like, you may fail to identify it. Even the car he drives. But do you think they can don't you think they can afford the car? So the reason why ANITA Among was arrested partly is it was because of PR, because General Museveni wants to show the public that he's fighting corruption, but also it was because ANITA Among was stealing in a primitive manner. How can you have a collection of cars with private number plates, okay, worth almost 10 billion? I remember when ANITA Among came into power as a Speaker of Parliament, the first thing was to buy Range Rovers, buy Benzes. That was a mistake with personalized number plate. So it is politics at play, not ordinarily because they are trying to fight corruption, no, but it is politics at play. In fact, the car that was bought by ANITA Among, it paid flight fees of over 1 billion shillings. In fact, in a statement that was released by URA, you clearly see the amounts that were used to ship it on the airline. It is 1 billion etc. And you clearly see that even the Uganda Revenue Authority, if you look at it, importer's name, ANITA Among Foundation, the date, it was 12/1. I think we were going to head to before election, the presidential elections from the UK. Zero mileage. I think it has 58 kilometers, 17 kilograms, etc. Blue. Those are the receipts. And very many propagandists were coming out to say that the Rolls-Royce was a gift by her friends. But even according to the Parliamentary Code of Conduct and our Constitution, when a public servant gets a gift that is above 100,000 shillings, he must declare it to the IGG and give it to government. I remember when Gaddafi was trying to quote Amelia Chambard, when he gave him a necklace of gold, he had to declare it to the IGG and to the president. So all those propagandas were just falling. So for me, I think one, ANITA Among lived in opulence. he stole public funds with impunity and flashed to the public. Second, he had a lot of influence in parliament, and General Museveni does not give a chance. The main reason may not be about corruption, because government of Uganda loses 11 trillion and above, and amongst corruption, I don't think that it amounted to even $500 million, but is being treated like this. I'm not saying that he must not come before the law, but that is not the reason for her arrest. The reason is political and public PR. Of course, it's what means truly Mr. Makinde Sulaiman Magal. If you're into this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so that I'm motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Thank you for attention to this matter. Peace.